And right over here we have our cold brew. Yeah, so we were out in Germany for just shy of 6 years, and it's literally where I learned to drink beer. Before then, I did not like beer. I was more of a wine fan, and he basically looked at me and said, hey, you need to jump on this train because the wine was more expensive, the soda was more expensive, and you got more in terms of volume with the beer than you did in wine and water. So one of his military functions actually took place at a local brewery there in Plankstadt. And as part of the function, they took us to the back of the house and showed us grain to glass what it took to make a beer. And I was enthralled by the process, and I was looking at it, and I just thought to myself, yeah, I can totally do this. I just started knocking on doors, seeing who would give me an opportunity to either guest brew or observe, just sit in and take notes, whatever it was, just to kind of get my foot in the door. And I don't, by trade, I'm a cosmetologist barber. I have always been a huge fan of makeup artistry. So I don't look like the typical person that would want to come in and get dirty and, kind of get your feet wet, so to speak. And I had one guy that looked at me and took me very seriously and said, hey, if you're ready and you're serious, show up tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. And I said, okay, and I did. And I ended up basically interning there for about a year. And then after that was when I bought my home brewing equipment. 2 years ago, I was a part of a collaborative brew up in Denver, and they were gonna be featured on a TV show. I had no idea about it. And so we were all on a Facebook page, and they said, hey, we're short, a home brew for the homebrewing competition. And they asked if I had any beer, and I said, I have one beer, I have 3 bottles, that's it. And they're like, cool, we'll put your name in. And I was like, all right, cool. And I thought I was just entering a local judging competition. And next thing I know, I get a phone call from the assistant producer of Viceland, the channel. And I mean, it was funny. I was emailing with her back and forth, and I was like, oh my God, they want to know a lot of details. This is really weird. And she finally gave me a call, and I just asked her, I stopped her kind of mid-sentence, and I was like, I'm so sorry, what brewery are you with? And she was like, oh, you have no idea what you entered. And I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And so then she starts to tell me it was Viceland, and it was for a show called Beerland. So I thought I was done, and I was still kind of confused because I was trying to hoard my bottles for the competition that I thought was taking place up in Denver. And at one point, the producers looked at me and they're like, this is the competition. And I was like, what? They came back to my house and announced that I was the winner for the state of Colorado. And I was just absolutely floored. Flew us back out to Los Angeles to McGill's brewery, which is Golden Road Brewing. And we did another 3 days of competition out there. On the final day, went up against another 3 judges. And I was fortunate enough to bring the win back home for Colorado Springs. So Nice. It was a very, very proud moment for me, yeah.
So the day before taping the final series, her mom was in surgery for breast cancer. So she went down to San Diego, drove down there, and did not go up to tape until her mom woke up. And then her mom told her to go up and get that taping done for the show. So there's a lot of emotion behind this show for us as a family because her mom was kind of that motivator for her, to get up there and go win that thing. For us, that was kind of one of those things where everything was lining up so well that we were like, man, we got to take a chance on this. We purchased Great Storm Brewery, and then about 4 or 5 months later, on Cinco de Mayo 2018, we rebranded as Atrevida Brewing Company and opened as Atrevida, and all the beers turned to Jess's recipes.
We need more people of color in leadership roles and owner roles. We need more women in these type roles. I do this selfishly for myself, but I also do it because I have my daughter looking at me.
I sit here at the bar, because obviously I'm a bartender, and I talk to these people and I tell them our story, and there's women that sit here and they're like, oh, I could actually do this. And it's so cool to see that inspiration just based off of beer, because each beer has a message, each beer has a story, which I think is awesome because it's not just beer. And then it becomes conversation, and it becomes almost like a snowball of effects, which is really awesome.
Intent for us with Diversities on Tap is to challenge folks to have a conversation, and it's about inclusion and bringing folks to the table, and having a dialogue, and honestly, that's all it's about.
You know, this is a woman-forward brewery. You have all women working here. You have a Latina owner, head brewer, vet owner, and aside from that, you know, every single beer that I have, my process is so different. I feel like, not in the sense of making beer. At the end of the day, we're all making beer. For me, every single one of my beers has a backstory to it. I'm influenced or inspired by one thing or another.
One of the beers that's still on now because it was so popular. My
Gin,
Gin
yeah.
is for her best friend that passed, and her drink was a white chocolate mocha espresso at Starbucks. So she made a white chocolate mocha espresso blonde stout on nitro, which is, you know, one of those things that you're like, how does that come out? It came out great, people love it, and we still make it because it just came out that way.
I love going out and meeting new folks and just kind of sharing my passion with people and sharing my stories with people and having people share their stories with me. You know, it opens up a dialogue over a glass of beer, which is crazy.